All over the planet, the migration has begun as the elements go into action and climb out of their sleeping beds. Nature is throwing off her chains and seething with rage at a handful of punks in three-piece suits and the vast army of stupid and indifferent that made their job easy, that sat on the sidelines or carried out the freight and abused friends and family with smoldering hate. Yeah, that's just love suppressed. Thank God for allopathic, symptomatic compounds that make it possible to conceal what we are really feeling, to hide it under fronts of resentment and futile anger at those closest to us, while cowardice and appetites put paid to the license granted to our oppressors. If you don't care who leads you, then you probably don't care where you wind up, or simply have lost the capacity to add 2 and 2, which, according to natural law, results in an arrival of a 2x4. Just to let you know that the cosmos, yes, the cosmos can still count. The hand of the cosmos is nature in action. And if you don't pay attention, she'll put you in traction. It's not personal. It's the business of the system that orders the degree of presence and performance that determines the itinerary. The news isn't good. That's for sure. Good news doesn't sell. That's one for sure. What did you expect, residence hell? What the heck? On Walmart, maybe Blackheart, Monsanto, and Blitzen. On Vatican, DuPont, and possibly Kentucky Fried Chicken. The season is long gone. The spirit is missing. Meanwhile, it's all about where it's okay to put your dick. It's all about celebrating the things that make you sick. It's all about control and regimentation. It's all reaction and the right to maim and kill. So, how did it get like this? How did life become such a fucking drag? Who shot up the hamster with amphetamine? Who poisoned the well? Who did it in Palestine? And who's doing it now? Who got together with the worst to come down on our own heads? Who put creed against creed and color against color? Who's making the money from the carnage and ruin? Who's selling you fear about people you don't even know? Who did what got blamed on the people we bombed? Who put a boogeyman under your bed? Who made crime so attractive and armed the cartels? Who made ordinary funk into dysfunctional trolls? Who made the cops mean? Who corrupted the priests? Who made one big clusterfuck nightmare? Who taught you false history? Who created the river of darkness that runs under the ship of state? You're almost there. Yes, you're almost there. Nothing is what it seems. The reality of the misidentified seems to be the norm of things. In former times, people behaved according to the definitions that they operated under. A conservative was a conservative. And usually a conservative and a liberal was a liberal. This is no longer the case anymore. As for the magnetisms, new attractive forces are presenting themselves, and people are behaving under compulsionary and contrary to the basic nature. Being overwhelmed by forces and conditions, those power comes about due to one's sense of self having deteriorated to the point that they no longer know who they are. Voluntary and cooperative change assure a redder identification in transition. Forced and uncooperative change results in a partial and total destruction of the cognitive self in terms of their capacity to recognize the states into which they are being led into being transported. People are all focused on external events and are missing the activation of the residents of an entirely new atmosphere of being created around them, and they're helping it happen. And many don't even know it. People are all paranoid about what's coming and unaware of who it is and who it might happen to. People are finding the need of their appetites to increase in advance of an arrival of a time which they can no longer satisfy themselves. The whole thing is about fear and uncertainty. It paralyzes you. It turns us into a deer in the headlights. We've made the men in the shadows powerful because our fear is the Viagra that inspires their abuse. We won't collect and congregate with our fellows, so they will pick us off, yes, they will, one by one, and put us in jumpsuits with single digits on them. Yeah, that's a fact. We seem incapable of stepping away from the levers and buttons of our own self-destruction. Everyone gets challenged, and that's a fact too, about whether they care about what happens to other people around them. It's set up that way. Everyone is worried what the devil is going to think. You don't want to piss him off and make him angry. The results of that might be even worse than you think. Meanwhile, you want to stay away from that crazy guy who's talking to himself. Just because you've been deaf for the last 20 or 30 years and you think he's all alone. Just like it is in the 6 kinds of shit amusement park of usual life. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And the true light casts no shadows, nor entertains them at his house. You want to be afraid of someone who hates you? You think your fear is some kind of way out? Is that how it worked out on the playground? Sure, some are born to serve the darkness, and they got certain schools for that, but if you're not chosen for it, they will sniff you out. One needs to understand how the darkness operates in order to command what lives in the deep. You have to know what you actually are. Good or evil is not the point. Self-identification is the point. All these people going the wrong way have created a tailwind and a slipstream of division and panic. First, you must overcome the fear the created fear. Then you have to make a connection, or you will die by your own hand. It's all suicide after all. It's okay to be the bad guy if that's what it is that you are. If not, old Scratch will sniff you out, and he'll tell his people what's going on. And you know what happens after that. That's what you get for trying to fit in when you could be long gone, like San Juan. Yes, there's been a point in all this motive and poor address. You can't say these things directly. It's peripheral at best. You can accommodate your injury till you can't even feel a thing. This is how it gets for people who hurt others once their sensitivity is long gone. But in the end, yes, always in the end, the sins of the initiators send their children into time, and they will all show up together further down the line.